Alright, this is a packet tracer 6244 configuring IPv6 and default routes. So here we have our network topology. Scroll down a little bit, you got a couple questions. First one says how many networks are there in total? And there's 5 total. How many network devices are directly connected to R1, R2, and R3? R1 has 2, R2 has 3, and R3 has 2. Alright, our next question. How many static routes are required by each router to reach networks that are not directly connected? And then R1 needs 3, R2 needs 2, and R3 needs 3. Our next question says, which command used to configure IPv6 routes? And that's IPv6 route. So let me show you guys like this, right? IPv6 route. Okay. All right, part 2 says enable IPv6 routing on all routers. So let's start with R1. Go to R1, CLI, enter configuration mode, and type in IPv6 unicast dash routing. Hit enter. There we go. So now we're going to go over to R2 and R3 and going to do the exact same thing. So enter configuration mode, type in IPv6 unicast routing. Alright, next one. Alright, so we're done with that. Next step, configure recursive static routes on R1. So we're going to go to R1. Alright, so we're in R1. Now let's type in IPv6 route 2001 colon DB8 colon 1 now colon 2 colons dash 64 space 2001 colon DB8 colon 1 colon A001 2 colons and then 2. So make sure yours looks exactly like this right here. Once you got that, go ahead, press enter. Okay, now we have our next one, and I'm just going to use the up arrow and then it'll bring up my last command, and I can just change the numbers from here so I don't have to type it in all over again. So now we're going to change from slashes 64, going to delete all the way up to the 1. So we have 1, then colon A002 colon colon. And then the rest of that stays the same. So go ahead and press enter. Alright, now we have one more to go. This last one, we're going to change the A002 for 3. For 3. And then everything else stays the same, so we'll hit enter. And that's it. Next part says step 3, configure a directly attached and fully specified static route on R2. So configure a directly attached static route from R2 to R1 LAN. So let's get out of R1 go to R2 CLI, and we're already in configuration mode, so we're just going to type in IPv6 route 2001 colon DB8 colon 1 colon 1 colon slash 64 and then SE 0 /0 /0. Okay, so if you, yep, go ahead and double check that, make sure yours is right, then hit enter. There we go. Next step, configure a fully specified route from R2 to R3 LAN. To do this, we're gonna type in IPv6, or you know what, just go ahead and hit your up arrow. So IPv6 route, and it's gonna be 2001 DB8 1 3 and then slash colon 64 and then SE 00, change the last 0 to a 1. Now type in 2001 colon DB8 colon 1 colon A002 colon 2. Just like that. And let me see if I can make the text bigger for you guys. Alright, so we were on step 3, part B, and we just entered in this command. I just paused the video for a second to make the font a little bit larger. So now go ahead and make sure yours looks exactly like this. Then hit enter. And then we're done with that. So now we're going to move on to step 4. It says configure default route on R3. Configure recursive default route on R3 to reach all networks not directly connected. So we're going to exit R2, go into R3, you're in the CLI, so hit enter, enter configuration mode, and then type in IPv6 route, two set of colons, /0 space 2001 colon DB8 colon 1 colon A002 colon 1. Alright, and then let me just extend this. Alright, so make sure yours looks just like that. Go ahead, hit enter, and we're good on that one. Now we're on step 5. It says which command is used to verify the IPv6 configuration of a PC in the command prompt. That's ipconfig. So I'm going to show you guys that. Go to just any PC. I'm going to go to PC1. You go to the desktop, command prompt. It'll open up, and you just got to type in ipconfig. And there it goes. Shows you your IP address, subnet mask, default gateway, and IPv6. Says which command displays the IPv6 address configured on a router's interface, and then that's show IPv6 interface brief. So if you go to a router, you hit show IPv6 interface brief, And here it shows you the IP address configured on the router's interface. And now it says the next question says which command displays the contents of IPv6 routing table. And that command is show IPv6 route. Hit enter, and there it is. So that was our first command, show IPv6 interface brief, and then we did show IPv6 route. And if you hit enter, you'll get some more lines of text, and then that's pretty much it.